Hey guys, Jake Nicolle here. Don't you love our setting today? We are in my backyard of our rental, which we've done a rental tour. I can't wait to show you guys that before we get the keys to my new home in like 4 days, and then we're gonna be renovating the whole place. It's gonna be amazing. But that's not the point of today's video. Today's video is about market stats. Let's dive in. So it is June 1st, and right now I am looking at our screen here, which is for the month of May. We're gonna review the stats. So here's high level, a couple things for you to know. The market this month is flat now. April, May, you can see the prices changed by about $2,000 and some change there. And what that means is that prices aren't changing too much right now. They're kind of remaining flat April and May, which, by the way, I'm just gonna remind you guys, that was a prediction that we had, that as we got tons of volume on the market, prices would flatten a little bit heading into these months where we trail off through spring into summer, and we're seeing prices flattening a little bit. So that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing that April and May, there wasn't a big change in prices. We're seeing the number of new listings is continuing to rise, and now it's rising very rapidly. We could see that in April, March to April, there wasn't a ton of new houses hitting the market right there. And then you can see as we go up to May, we get a ton more. And by the way, that's what happens pretty much every year. March to April, kind of flat, huge bump. This year was the anomaly, these years here, because it was kind of COVID time. But if we zoom out, we've showed this in other market stats videos, that trend, March, April's kind of flat for listings, and then May, you get a ton of listings. And what happens is this, prices shoot up so much March and April because you're not adding a lot of new inventory, but buyers are entering the market for spring. They're excited. Now, if we look at the number of homes for sale, this right here, I believe this is some kind of error right now in the back end of this system, because it shows 0 homes for sale. So obviously there's some kind of mistake there, which is really interesting. I actually haven't seen that before. And then if we look at sales, we can see that sales are still climbing, which they have to be climbing because we have so much inventory on the market. If it's turning over even a little bit, we're gonna see that number go up of the number of sales, the number of actual transactions that are happening. And then if we look at days on market, this is probably the most important trend for you to look at. Things right now are selling within 2 weeks. They're moving very quickly. So you can see in April, there was that 2-week trend all the way March. Things are moving a lot quicker. And then you can see in months supply though, things are actually beginning to pile up a little bit more. There's more homes adding up on the market. So there's a couple little nuances to this that's hard to account for, which is people relist their properties, all right? That changes the data of the number of days on market because it's not factoring in if that property's, cumulatively been on the market for like 60 days, but every 14 days they change the price or they refresh it. It makes it look like homes are spending less time on market. So there are some homes still sitting on market. And with month supply, you can see there's almost 3 months supply of homes. So there's actually a pretty good supply right now. And then you can see, this is the other big stat to pay attention to. So we talked about days on market is coming down on average, and then percentage of original price that things are selling for. Right now, it's at 100%. So essentially, if you want to sell your home based on this, I'd recommend that you use a pricing strategy of maybe subtly underpricing if you want a lot of attention, but I'd actually prefer the other strategy, which is price at market value. And a recap is there's only 3 strategies for pricing. There's overvaluing your home with the expectation that you're gonna leave negotiation room. There's pricing at market value, and then there's pricing under list price to try and push it up, or under market value to try and push things up a little bit. Now, there's risks and rewards with all 3 of those. You list too low, you lose too much quality. You list too high, you don't get enough showings. You list in the middle right now, it's exactly where I think you should be, all right? Percentage of list price, again, same thing. We can see that things are on average selling essentially in and around list price, maybe even a little bit higher. And that is because some of these homes are way under listing their price. So it skews all these metrics. So here's what I want you to take away right now. We are heading into the summer. Typically, when you head into the summer, what happens is the market calms down a little bit. You can see here, even if I go back to previous years, this year during COVID, things were all a little bit kind of wild. Then you can see here, things got very flat. So we're gonna zoom out so we can get a little bit of a broader spectrum. And what you'll notice is that over the summer months in general, things cool off a little bit. They get a little bit more flat with prices going up. They get a little bit flatter with actual new listings hitting the market. So you can see once we head into the summer, the listings start to trail off, and then there's a little spike in September, and then they trail off all the way down to December. So we are now in the descent phase of new listings hitting the market. if you're a buyer, you're going to have less listings heading into the next few months. You're also gonna have less people competing. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. It's like, what game do you wanna play? Do you wanna go to the market now where there's more listings hitting the market? I would recommend you look around. When you see something you love, if it feels like it's priced decent and you're happy with it, now's a good time to take action because there's so many variables. If banks raise rates, that will pull prices down a little bit more. And as long as you lock in a rate, then you're gonna have the ability to go out and maybe have a little bit less competition and still some inventory sitting on the market. But what if the bank doesn't raise rates and they remain flat a little longer? Maybe people will keep this buying frenzy pattern that we're seeing. So some things that we didn't predict. I wanna go back and talk about what was I not correct about with predictions. Some of the things that I wasn't correct about, banks failing. I didn't imagine that banks in the US were gonna start failing and cause the Jerome Powells of the world to pause raising interest rates because it's creating really unstable ground. Didn't see that coming, and that definitely caused us over here to also pause the rate at which we're increasing rates, and that caused buyers to go a little bit crazy as of recent, right? With these sales prices starting to kind of climb back up, you can see here over these last few months. So my recommendation is if you're a seller, it is an amazing time for the next couple weeks to get out on the market because there's gonna be a little bit less competition actually over the next couple weeks, and it's your opportunity to get in there before the end of the year, before things trail off too much, and it'll give you the ability to see if you can also still show off the fact that, like, look behind us, things look beautiful right now in Ontario. The flowers are amazing, your garden's amazing, your pools are all open. So it's a good time for you to get out there, see what you can make happen. There are always opportunities in the market. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, there's always opportunities. It's all about strategy. So drop a comment below, tell me your predictions. What do you think is gonna happen with pricing? What do you think is gonna happen with inventory? I'm telling you, inventory follows a trend. It's gonna trail off for the rest of the year. And I think we've still got tons of buyers out there shopping around. Good time to be a seller. If you're a buyer, get strategic. We'll see you guys in the next video. If you like this, if you enjoy these market stats videos, click the link around here. We've got tons of market stats for you to check out, as well as some primers on understanding how market stats work. All right, guys, I'm boiling out here. It's summer. Take care. Cheers.